Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about the snowstorm that's going to be occurring these upcoming days really. It's a very interesting system. It's fun. It's really fun. It'll be a fun one to forecast, as there's just going to be a lot of change probably to do with it, while the storm is actually occurring. Pretty unpredictable though. Its unpredictability shouldn't be too impactful in the sense that where more snow is forecasted, and the less snow falls or more snow falls than forecasted, they're not going to be ridiculous amounts. They're going to be up to 6, maybe up to 8. Ridiculous amounts of snow, no, but it's just a very interesting system. So we'll get into that. It's almost like if it has two phases, one for the Midwest and one for the Northeast. So yeah, we'll definitely all talk about that in today's video. Before we do that, however, consider subscribing to this channel if it's worthy of a subscription in your opinion. In order to, I guess, achieve that opinion, go check out my channel, check out the other videos, and see for yourself. If you are a consistent viewer and you like all my videos, you view them, consider liking this one as well, hitting the thumbs up button, as that really helps this video out and this channel out. So that's a little favor you can do. If not, perfectly fine. So let's look at the European model first off. As the GFS, it's showing it's the most warmest out of all the ensembles, or all the models and ensembles really. So if you're looking at the GFS by yourself, and you're on Tropical Tidbits and you're noticing that a lot of rain is showing instead of snow, it seems as if the GFS is just a little bit too warm for the preference. The short range models, the ones that goes out to 30 hours, they're showing more snow. Even so are the longer range models, some of them like the European, Canadian. Just really the GFS that's hugging onto this warm temperatures, which isn't really most likely going to happen. It's going to be more snowy than what the GFS shows here. But notice that it has definitely the characteristics that what the other models have. So we first see a resurgence of moisture across Missouri, Iowa, into Illinois, Wisconsin, and this is light stuff. This isn't ultimately, this isn't very heavy. And notice how it starts across late tomorrow into early Thursday. It spreads across into Illinois, and then it goes on during the whole day. You could see just some light to moderate snow across to Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Iowa, and this is again shown as green, but this would most likely be mainly snow with a little bit of mixing during the diurnal heating of the day, where it is, a little bit warmer due to the sun. Still not at that angle where, it could warm things up significantly. It's January 24th, so yes, the days are already substantially longer at that point, but still not to the extent of if this was an April snowstorm. Notice that this system initially, again, drags out a load of precip, and it just kind of sticks around for a while across parts of the Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan area. So exactly where those rain-snow line sets up and how the snow will and how intensely it will fall, it's very hard to predict. And all I'm gonna say is, as of now, if you live anywhere in this location, expect some snow. And obviously if you live I would say in these areas, expect maybe up to 6 inches of snow. If you live anywhere else in this area, you could expect 3 to 5, maybe only 1 to 3, but expect some pretty significant snow out of that. Again, not record breaking, but it's still relatively significant. It could impact you. And then notice it moves off into the Northeast. Interior parts of the Northeast, definitely get on this. Parts of New York, upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, they definitely get some snow out of this, so you're not missing out in the upstate. The only areas that are really the coastal areas. Let's look at the total snowfall again. This would be much more higher if the GFS was just a little bit more realistic, but the snowfall amounts across the Northeast seem pretty right on with the other models, and that's why I think the GFS does a good handle with this, not the Midwest really. Let's, for a comparison, look at the European model and see and check this out. Check out these differences, as yes, they are pretty significant. So right now we're looking at hour 6, hour 12, and notice again we get this burst of precipitation coming off the Rockies. It really develops. Notice the European puts out more snow than rain, and that is more realistic than what the GFS does. You could see it it really affects parts of Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, with some snow during the early Wednesday, even into the early and later parts of Wednesday as well. And this slowly, very slowly spreads eastward and eventually hits areas like Illinois around the late late Wednesday. I mean, midnight, probably past midnight in Chicago, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, eastern Iowa. Maybe seeing it a little bit sooner, but late Wednesday, early Thursday. Then this just sits over us for a while. Not really heavy snow, guys. It's gonna be light, very light snow. Sometimes not even at all accumulating on the roads, as that will be as sorry, that was my chair, by the way. And as a result of some, again, as the snow not falling quick enough and the temperatures being marginal, notice that then this system re-intensifies and drops potentially more significant band. You can see develops right there by it, kind of with that low pressure on late Friday. But that could definitely boost the snowfall amounts for those locations, so that could be something interesting to look at. And notice that the European also brings the snow into the northeast, so that's pretty consistent. And then notice in the longer range we have another system developing, so a lot of activity, nothing to worry about. We are seeing plenty of storms. So let's look at the total accumulated snowfall, and let me tell you that the snowfall amounts, the European is one of the heavier amounts of models it puts out, or one of the models that puts out heavier amounts. It puts out up to 8 inches in some locations. Notice that this is from like that Wednesday first initial burst. Even though that snow looked relatively light, again, when you have those right conditions and a good, I guess, snowflake building material in the atmosphere. There's a word for that. I just completely forgot. Dendritic growth. Yes, that's what it is. Dendritic growth in atmosphere. You could actually see, that those light snowfall rates exaggerate into moderate snowfall rates, and you can see it dumps up to 5 inches in some locations. Many, though, I would say 1 to 2, 1 to 3. Then we spread into the northern Illinois area. Notice across Omaha, Nebraska, Lincoln, maybe seeing up to, again, the European puts out quite a little bit, up to some double-digit snowfall amounts, 6 to 9, 6 to 10 inches of snow, quite a bit. And then you can see it also puts out quite a bit across the Illinois and even to northern Indiana. This could definitely be the biggest snow of the season over a course of 3 days. So again, this won't all come to you at once and you'll be awakened one day with, oh, fiddlesticks, we have 10 inches of snow to shovel. No, most likely this will fall over the course of 3 days. So each day maybe 2 to 3 inches of shoveling, which will get tiring. Don't worry about that. Plenty of things to do for the snow shoveler, for the snow plowers, but at least it's not, over, I guess, overtaken those snowplowers by this heavy snow, as we saw a couple of days ago on Friday here across the Midwest. It was like that very quick heavy snow. It was like 5 inches very quickly. This will be slower, but could add up a little bit more. And then notice Northeast sees some pretty good amounts as well. Pennsylvania, the European, shows quite a bit of snow actually. Plenty of locations possibly seeing up to over 10 inches, and we could see into the parts of interior New York, also seeing plenty of snow into Vermont and New Hampshire. The European shows a little bit less, but that is still yet to be figured out. Again, these amounts are, you can see they're spotty, these higher amounts, and I think a lot of locations will see over 6 inches, but I don't think it's going to be really the exact locations as what the model is showing right now, as that is still, that's just very hard to predict those fine details. If we were to look at the HRRR model, which is the very high resolution, very refined, very short range model. I mean, it goes out quite literally not more than 18 hours on the regular run and not more than 30 hours on its longer runs. Let's look at this. So again, we get that dose of precipitation. It could be moderate to light rain. You could see nothing, no severe weather should be really occurring, though some moderate rain may be happening late today into early tomorrow, so into early Wednesday. Notice it spreads. There's quite a bit of icing that could be occurring across the Nebraska-Iowa border, so Omaha, Lincoln, maybe getting in on some of this, western Iowa. And then notice how the transition just happens to snow even as far south as Oklahoma. You can see right there occurs all the way down by Texarkana area, so possibly those locations seeing quite a bit of snow. Wichita, Tulsa seeing quite a bit of snow, or seeing that snow, rain to snow transition, and that moves into Kansas City over the night or over during the day, and this again continues spreading eastward very slowly and very light precip while that is occurring. And notice this is 2 o'clock tomorrow in the afternoon across Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, Ames, Iowa. It's snowing into portions of northern Iowa as well, Mason City, Fort Dodge, as well, seeing that snow. And then this gradually moves off into the parts of the eastern Illinois, most of Wisconsin at this point, it seems. even though this model is refined, it still jumps around quite a bit, as this forecast model run is definitely going to change. So, you know, and I'm going to show you these snowfall totals. Just because your location doesn't seem to be getting a lot of snow doesn't mean it won't, or just because your location seems to be getting, 4 inches tomorrow, it may not, and that may, vary quite significantly, especially given that the snow is just so hard to predict where the heavier bands are going to set up. Notice though, a general 1 to 2 inch event across Kansas, Oklahoma, some isolated 3-inch amounts, and even maybe up to 4 inches. But really, it starts spreading quickly to the east, and that's where most of the heavier snow will fall over here. But that gives you a good amount, and this wouldn't even be done. This would be like halfway through the system, even across Iowa. You could see the very light snow, but it's definitely there. It's falling, and we'll have to see what it exactly does in the next several hours, this HRRR model, or in the next day, if you will. Keep an eye on this. If you want to go to keep your eye on the skies, obviously, but keep your eyes on the radar as well. Choose your local radar. That's the best way to forecast what will be occurring, and when. And then also look at this model on Tropical Tidbits. HRRR model. You go to forecast models, and then you go to mesoscale and go to HRRR model, and you just take this, and this basically shows what's going to happen in the next 18 hours. So it's really, once a storm already hits, you could keep track of this using this model. So I would say, it's probably really accurate for the locations in Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, not so much as Iowa, as that is a little bit further out. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you all guys in the next episode. So stay safe, and notice even portions of northern Texas could get in on some of the snow. So that is some nice news for you. All right, guys, I'll catch you later. See ya. Bye.